everybody. Thank you all for joining me. I want to appreciate everybody so much for being here. Um, so my name is Tantalaya, but on my YouTube, I go by Craft with T because that's my nickname, T. And I do a lot of cards, but I also do scrapbook layouts. So I do a little bit of everything. And I'm so excited to share my cards with you guys. Yes, fall cards are my favorite too. Fall is my season. Okay, I love that. Oh, I see a question. The My Petunia glue gun. Um, this particular bottle size fits the best inside the handle, right? But you can buy these empty and you can put whatever glue you have inside. So the shape of the bottle is what's important for the apparatus here, but inside you can put whatever glue. Now, when you get the initial product, it does come with glue inside one of the bottles for you to start right away. And then I've just been using like my Barely Art glue refills and stuff to refill my glue as I go. I use Barely Art and I also use Art glitter glue. So either one will work. Okay. And do you spray the vellum before you emboss it? Such a stunning card. I love the way you use the sprays. Oh, thank you. Yes. Well, you can. I think when I did the video, I did not. It all depends on the type of embossing folder I'm using. So if you're using more of a 3D folder, I highly suggest you wet it first because the 3D folders, they have to press so hard to get that really big dimension that it can rip the vellum. So heavier weight of vellum and just spray it a little bit with water. It doesn't have to be like sopping wet. You just want to wet it a little bit. Just wet the paper fibers a little bit. But this one was a regular embossing folder, so you didn't have to. With such a delicate die cut, would it work to put it directly on the stamp pad? Um, and little run a tool over it instead of pushing it in. Got you. What she's talking about there is with the leaf. I don't know if you guys can see the leaf there. I embossed the outline, right? Because I wanted that gold to pop. You could do that with your brayers or equipment like that. Just make sure that you clean it when you're done. I should have used the Dauber embossing ink. I probably couldn't find it at the time because, tools get up and walk away sometimes. But this would have worked too because you could have just really lightly like pressed down all over it and it would be more delicate. But I don't think about it. I just go, I go ham because I figure I could probably fix it, even if something happened. What other projects am I working on now? Right now, I'm in a group that had we had like a weekend crop a couple of I think it was like a week or so ago, and so I've been doing like a bunch of challenges from there. So I really don't have. I think that yeah, this last Friday, I had a video on my channel where I did this layout and I did the backing of a like a cut file. So that was the last thing that I did. Yeah. Okay. What technique do you think you're most known for? So I would say I'll do a lot with mixed media more often than I do anything else because I love coloring. With this one, the coloring I did was with the splatters. So splatters to me is a way of adding sort of like a mixed media feel without it having to be very difficult. And anybody can do it, right? You can use your paint brushes. You can use a lot of times I just take the little nozzle out like this with the ink on it and I tap the nozzle to get my, splatters. Most of the time you won't really see me use this. I know they talk about, oh, it can get clogged and all that. I don't tend to worry about it because if it gets clogged, I pull this out and that's how I get my splatters. You know what I mean? So I would say that's probably what I'm most known for is I splatter everything. Which technique was a wow moment for you? I would say the technique that really brought me into card making, which brought me to scrapbooking, is embossing. Heat embossing was like the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Watching it melt and turn either that beautiful shiny or glittery, like everything about heat embossing, I love, 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 love. And what I would suggest to anybody who's starting out trying to emboss, especially if you're doing the heat emboss, you'd want to get a tool, a good heat tool. Okay. If you do this one, just know it's going to take you a little bit longer because the heat is more wide. You see the opening? It's like a more wider opening. If you want it to heat quicker, you go for a tool like this. And you can see the opening is much more pointed, right? It's smaller. So it'll heat up your projects faster. You just have to be careful because the one with the smaller hole, you can run the risk of burning the embossing powder. You don't want to do that. If you're afraid or you just want to take it slow, then get this one. Okay. And this is the Ranger heat tool. And don't be fooled. This sucker gets hot. Okay. You can burn yourself on both. So please be careful. Get you a reverse tweezer. I don't know if I used that in the video, but reverse tweezers help too. Do I sell my ATCs or cards? I do not sell them. A lot of people in my life are like, oh, you should put it online and sell. But what I always tell them is what's hard for me is that this is my piece. This is a passion, but I don't have that passion to want to sell it. Like I don't know like what to charge someone. I'm not Hallmark, so I'm like, what do I like? What am I gonna ask for? $10? You know what I mean? Like when you start thinking about supplies and time. So I like to give them away. I do up cards to, for work colleagues, Christmas time, everybody gets a Christmas card, it's stuff like that. Yes, yeah. It's definitely therapy. What is my favorite tool in the craft room? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm torn because I would probably say my heat tool. Because when I do mixed media, I like to use it to dry. And then also I use it to help warping. But if I'm looking for like a tool, I would say the biggest one would probably be the glue. Especially as I'm getting older, the pressing and the squeezing of the glue bottles, this has been a game changer. Now, I would say if you do a lot of crafting, you're going to have to fill this up regularly. Because right now, holding it up in the light, my glue is like right here. So I know if I start a project, I'm going to probably have to fill this up first because I use a lot of glue. Oh, what's my least favorite tool? Oh my gosh. That's a good one. The one that probably drives me nuts. Ooh, no one's ever asked that question before. I'm trying to think. I'm looking because I keep a lot of stuff right here. Don't mind me, okay? uh, you know, I would say on any given day, any one of my tools can be a least favorite. And I'm going to say this way because sometimes things will work perfect for you. You use them all your life, all the time you've been doing this crafting thing, and then there'll be that one day where it's not working right, right? So like for instance, I buy cutting boards all the time, right? I had the one with the wire in it. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it until the wire started warping. And then it's like your stuff is getting uncut. So, like, I would say the thing that I use most often that can sometimes be the most headache, choosing a cutting board. Because I want stuff to be, you want to cut and have it be precise. And even with this one has the titanium edge. It's not necessarily that this is warping, but sometimes it feels like when you put the paper up against it, it's still not straight. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that, but you're looking at it like, I'm using my little side pieces here to line up. Why does it still feel crooked? You know what I mean? So finding the right cutter is probably my least favorite thing. Now that I think about it, because that's the thing that drives me the most, like bunkers. Oh, where can you get that glue gun? I know there's a lot of different, like, I don't know if you can get it necessarily on Amazon. I am familiar with a group that I deal with a lot, called My Little Scrapbook Store, and this is where I got this. But you can get it from My Sweet Petunia right on her website. And then I'm pretty sure she sells it to other like large companies like your scrapbook.coms and stuff like that. So I would check around, but I'm sure this is probably available almost everywhere right now. Yeah. Someone said if they sold their card, they'd want $20. Me too, Kathy. Okay. What is my favorite technique? Oh, my favorite technique, and probably the technique that I go to most often, is the one that I did with this card. I love all things embossing. The embossing folder, and playing with that. You can play with ink. You can play with, like once you do this, you could have took an ink pad and brushed it along the embossed image so that the part that's sticking up has a little bit of ink on it and separates from the background. There's so many things you can do with embossing. So really, yeah, I'm gonna say embossing is my favorite technique because that's the one I go to first. Oh, now see, okay. So bees planning and memory keeping is my best friend. And she knows that the cricket is probably my least favorite. Only because um there's so many things that you want to do with your crickets and your silhouettes and stuff like that, that sometimes it's frustrating because it's not just an easy click, 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 and you can go. And learning how to manipulate and use that thing, yeah, that you're right. It's probably my silhouette. Yeah, I probably use that the least. What do you do when and if you need inspiration for a project? This is a good question because I am constantly trying to figure that out and work it out. A lot of times I'm probably one of those old schools, I guess. I still go to Pinterest. Pinterest is a first like go-to place for me. I have started going to Instagram more, just kind of looking through, especially like if I'm using certain products. So I'll go to 49 and Market's feed because I love 49 and Market. They're one of my favorites. And uh sometimes I talk to my friends. I'm like, what are you working on? Show me some of your projects. What have you been doing? My bestie who was just on here, she introduced me to two new people on YouTube who I'd never heard of, and watching them has been a good revitalizing. So I would say search for different things on YouTube because there's so many of us out there. Like you'll be surprised what you can find to inspire, really and truly. Truly, truly. Okay. What is the name of the leaves embossing folder called that you used today? Is it still available? You know what? I want to say that one is from Honeybee Stamps, and I believe in the kit I did put a link to it. I think it's available on the Honeybee website though. You have to go to Honeybee Stamps, right? Yeah, Honeybee Stamps. I believe it's honeybeestamps.com, and you should be able to find it. I don't have the name for it, but I want to say it had fall in the title. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, in the worksheet. There should be supply links and everything for you guys. That's the word I was trying to get to. My presentation page. Yes. What is a card technique that you do not love? Hmm. You know what? I'm not a big fun fold. I know a lot of people love them. The most fun fold I would do is probably like, like a trifold or something like that. Like I don't having it flip flop, zoop zab, and all that other stuff. Those aren't my go tos. I would love it, but they're just not my go to. Do I have a favorite embossing powder? I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love them all. There's no one favorite. To be honest, if it's glittery, it's probably my number one because I love all things that sparkle. And with it being an embossing powder, the glitter does not shed. I don't know if you guys know that. Like once you melt it, that glitter, that shimmer glitter, it does not come off on your hand. So if you have an aversion to glitter, but you want something sparkly, invest in some embossing powders because once you melt it, you're good. All right. What is my favorite season or reason to craft for? My favorite season is fall. Just period. I love fall. It's the perfect weather, not too hot, not too cold. And I love the fact that we get like all the warm like drinks and soup. Like, okay. I love pumpkin spice. I'm not afraid to admit it. So it's coming up to that pumpkin spice season and I can't wait. And the reason to craft for my sanity. Anytime I just need a whoosah, and because work, I do a lot with working with the public and stuff. So crafting is my peace and my relaxation. I love doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's the usually one of the first places I stop at the end of my day is in this room to where even if I'm not physically crafting, it's the place where I just feel most at ease and it's mine. Oh, my chair looks comfortable. Where did you get it? I got it off of Amazon. And I love it because the arms move, right? So we all know that I've probably straightened up, getting ready for today. But I ain't gonna lie, there's some stuff down here that you can't see. Okay. So, but if I needed to pick it up, at least without the arms, it's easier to bend. So I like the fact that the arms move and stuff. And usually I sit a little bit lower, but I'm trying to sit up tall today. All right. Have you designed your Christmas cards yet? Actually, what I've started doing throughout the year, I try to incorporate a little bit of a holiday card as often as I can. So that way at the end of the year, I'm not like stressing trying to get it. So, like, just this past week, now that you mention it, I know it's not part of the weekend, but I did 4 cards that I intend to give out for Christmas using foil. I'm telling you, if it's shiny, shimmery, anything that has a little bit of sparkle, I'm gonna use it. So, and I did the foil using score tape and deco foil. So that's on my channel as well. Oh, where's the cat? He was here actually right before we started, and then he went away. I think they're sleeping still. Oh, yes, Helen. I have a favorite color. It might be my chair color. Do you see the pink? I love pink. Pink is my favorite color, the color I'm drawn to the most. When I'm crafting, though, what's crazy is I lead or tend to go towards blues more. Even though I love pink, but I do go to blues more. Um, does EP have a shelf life? Mine seems to not stick anymore. What's EP? EP. Oh my God. Why am I having a brain fart? Oh, embossing powder. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. You know what? I don't know that it does, to be honest, because I got these containers at like Dollar Tree years ago and put my embossing powder in it and it still melts. I think the main thing is making sure that your ink pad that you're using has enough juice to it to really hold on to the embossing powder, really and truly. Now I like to use my Versa Fine, my Versa either Versa Fine, Versa Claire. Um, Obviously your embossing ink that's designed for it you can use too. But any hybrid, not hybrid, what is this called? Pigment ink. Any pigment ink can be used with embossing powder. So I always tell people don't panic. If you don't have the clear stuff, it's okay. If you have any pigment ink that stays wet longer than a dye ink, you can emboss with it. It doesn't matter what color it is. It could be red, purple, green, yellow, and you can just put your powder on it. Oh my God. Oh no, our time is almost up, y'all. So thank you. Please continue to put questions on the video. I will definitely go back and try and catch your questions if you guys have any that I may have missed. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad you enjoyed our cards that we made. I'm so excited. I hope you try them too. Use it. This would work for Christmas if you have like a poinsettia die, stamp and die. Use it. Try it on anything. This method would work with any season. It really will. And thank you guys for joining me. I hope you follow me on my links. Find me. I'm mostly on YouTube. That's where you'll always find me. I have videos on usually every Friday. And then I did start my Technique Tuesday videos. So make sure you check those out where I share with you some of my favorite techniques. We try some new products or new, things that come out. So come join me and thank you guys. I'm so excited. I hope you have a great time and I hope you enjoyed this weekend. I love the Card Maker Summit. It's so fun.